Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the reins with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. How are we doing this evening?
Doing great.
How's practice been so far this week?
Looked all right. You got some things to work on. Got a team that's hungry for a win coming in. We're hungry for a win. It'll be a pretty good ball game.
I expected it to cool down a little bit towards the end of September. It's still pretty warm out there today.
Yeah, it's a little warm today. The boys are kind of like, man, I'm a little warm today. I was like, yeah, we'll be all right.
I hadn't looked at the weather Friday night yet. How's it supposed to look?
I hadn't looked. I know it's chance of rain tomorrow, but I think it's supposed to be kind of nice Friday.
Good.
Nice night for homecoming.
I don't care if it's cold. I don't care if it's warm. Just don't rain. We've seen enough of that this year.
I'm tired of the rain. It is. I'm so sick of it.
I think we all are.
Yes, it's one of the things. We've been very lucky because the night that everything crazy happened in the Region 1, which I know we're Region 1, but we were at Eagleton, which is pretty much Region 2.
And the rain came before it went that way.
Yes.
You kind of beat it by starting 30 minutes early,
yes.
And it kind of passed before kickoff.
Yeah, we were warming up, and it rained on us pretty good, but other than that, we didn't really have any issues. And, the turf just kind of soaked it right up, and we was good to roll.
Yep.
So.
And then whenever you went up to Cloudland, you avoided all that mess too.
Yes, we've been very lucky with how the weather's been. I know some of the other teams around here have had a big issue with it, and I'm thankful we've avoided it for the most part.
You might be the only team that gets every game in on their originally scheduled time and originally scheduled date.
For the region, probably. I think we might be, unless Cloudland unless they've had a funky.
Not sure. I haven't looked into them.
But I know pretty much everybody else that night we were at Cloudland had either a rain delay or something.
Yeah.
And the night we were at Eagleton, everybody had something funky happen.
Yeah.
So we've been.
That was
lucky.
the craziest week. That Thursday night game got ruled a no contest, and then the two games other than you all got moved to Saturday and Monday.
Yes.
That was the craziest week of it all. We thought the first week was crazy where you avoided it at Cloudland, but craziest week happened the second time around.
Yes.
It was a beautiful night this past Friday night, though.
Yes, it was.
Here at the range. It was a great turnout. It was the Milk Can game, one of the most highly anticipated games of the year. Played well overall, came out on the losing end of things 29-14. Had 215 yards of total offense, which equaled the exact amount that South Greene had also. Had chances in that game to come out on top. Talk about some of the things that you would wish you had back in that game.
The game plan going in was control the clock. I think we
did a really good job at that.
I think we had 18 minutes of possession in the first half, something like that.
It was like 18:55, I think.
So we that was the game plan: control the clock, sustain drives, chew. The problem was we'd get going, and then we'd shoot ourselves in the foot. And we've shot ourselves in the foot so many times, but I'm gonna have to start saying we're going to shoot ourselves in the shin because we got a foot left.
You shot all 10 toes off this.
Yeah, it was, when we had the one punt, we line up and punt. I'm trying to play the field position battle, and I'm trying to pin them deep. And our long snapper sends it 25 feet over our punter's head, and they get the ball on the 15-yard line. That's huge. And, I've preached special teams all year long, and, I told them special teams can make or break a game. The penalty, or the two bad snaps on punts killed us. Luckily, they dropped one of the punts and give us a little bit of life. But special teams was about the difference in that ball game. I mean, offensively, we had the same amount of yards. Defensively, about very similar. They just scored and we didn't. When you only have to go 15 yards, it's not hard to score. And we just the field position battle. We were playing behind the sticks a lot of times. We didn't have a lot of negative plays, but we had busts that caused us to be either penalties or bad snaps or something that just sucked all the momentum out of us. And we really felt like we never really got moving good down the field to where we could just go punch it in and score. And it was frustrating at times. But, overall, I was very proud of our young men. There was a lot of people that I had heard say it's going to be ugly. They're going to beat you 50-0. You know, it was one of those things where I don't think very many people outside of our locker room expected it to be a close ball game. And I told the guys that you know, guys, this is a pride game. This is a game that you'll remember for the rest of your life. You go out and you fight tooth and nail. You give it everything you have for 4 quarters. You play your butts off, and the chips fall where they lay. And if you do all that, we'll give ourselves a chance to win the ball game. And, you know, we go back, watch the film. There's chances we have where we just missed a block here, missed a block there. If we get those blocks, man, we're off and running. And so just little things like that's what I take away that we've got to work on, is just better execution of our base things.
What are some of those mistakes that you want to work on? Because I know you had those 2 special teams mishaps on the snaps that sailed over your punter's head, and then you had the 2 fourth down conversions that failed on the 19 and 28-yard line too. Talk about those 2 plays and what could have went differently on those.
You know, the first 4th down we go for, I don't understand why they took the ball from the hash where it was spotted, walked it from the hash to the sideline, re-spotted it, and then measured instead of measuring from the spot on the hash.
Okay.
I didn't understand that. And, I mean, it's 4th down. We're in the red zone. I'm trying to make something happen. You watch film. I can't say for sure that he got it, but on film it sure looked like he did. But, you know, the spot was where the spot was. You can't complain about it. I mean, he was a couple inches short. And, you know, that's one of those things. If 10 times out of 10, 4th down, inside the 30, I'm going for it. You know, we've got a kicker that he's young. He's never kicked before. He doesn't quite have the leg strength to kick a 47-yard field goal. Most high school kids don't. I'm going to send my guys out that I know can go get me a yard or 2 and hope for the best. And so, you know, that anytime it's 4th and short like that in the red zone, I'm going for it. So I don't consider those mistakes. That's just a gamble you have to take as a coach sometimes. Sometimes you're the hero, sometimes you're the dummy.
It's been a recurring theme. Soon enough, you're going to be the hero.
Maybe. I've been the dummy an awful lot this season, it feels like.
Soon enough, you're going to be the hero when we use that phrase.
Gosh, I hope so. You know, we onside kicked it one time. Beautiful onside kick. Our guy that it should be going up and catching the ball has got his head down running instead of looking and trying to find the ball. He literally runs under the ball, and they get on it. And I'm like, and it was just one of those things that's like mental mistakes killed us. Missing blocks here, missing blocks there. Nothing. We couldn't, you know, we chewed clock. We executed good enough to move down the field on them. We just never quite got to the point where we punched it in. You know, 4th down inside the 30 or inside the 40. You got to go. As a coach, I just feel like that's most high school coaches are going to go for that unless you've got just a freak kicker that can kick a 50-yard field goal.
Which not many have.
No. You know, we've got a kid that maybe inside the 20. Most kids can probably handle that. But he's never kicked before, and you know, it's one of those things. I'm gonna trust the guys that are seniors that have put the work in to go get me a yard or 2. And when you come up literally inches short both times, it is what it is.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, a little bit. It was frustrating at times. But you know, other than just those couple things, you know, officiating crew was great Friday night. They didn't really make any just egregious errors that I could complain about. So, you know, it was one of those things like just, you know, South Greene's a good football team. They're undefeated for a reason. Breaks have went their way, and, you know, they take advantage of those breaks. When you give them a short field, they go score. You know, and hats off to them. They played a great ball game.
One play that you were able to go to that you found a lot of success with was that little pass to Austin Franklin. He took it 61 yards into the end zone for your first touchdown of the night. That cut the score to 15-6. What did you see on that certain play that allowed you to run it and find that success?
We know in the set we run, we've got a tight end and that wing on the same side. And we run to that side a lot. That's our strong running side. And we know that when they see Reed run, they were crashing hard. So really all we did was kind of leak the tight end and the wing out and faked our base run play, and Dawson kind of rolled to that same side, and where everybody sucked in on the run because they were selling out to stop the run, just dumped it to him. We'd ran it earlier in the game and we just missed him. Dawson just kind of missed him a little bit. He was a little long on it. But we come back to it the next series, and Franklin made a great catch. Braden McCamey made a great job just getting in the – didn't put his hands on him, had his hands up, ran in the kid's way.
Just got in his way and kind of made him – it slows you down more than you think.
Yes, got in the kid's way long enough to get Frankie by him. Austin Franklin did the rest with his legs. I was excited for him. I was excited for our kids. That gives us a life, gives us a chance. I wish our defense would have come up and stopped them after that, give us the ball back, give us a chance to go make it a score game. But they score, and it put them up 22-6 at that point.
And then you were able to cut it down right after that with Maddox's touchdown run.
Yeah.
Talk about that play a little bit also.
We got down into inside the 5. We've got a little heavy set where we put Doc, Ian, and Maddox all in the backfield. They're 3 big, strong kids. Most of the time, a lot of teams it's kind of an eye with an extra fullback, and a lot of teams focus on the running back in that because they think those 2 fullbacks are going to kind of just lead up. And we just kind of handed it to Maddox up inside, and he just kind of squeaked through there. And, our center and guard did a great job on that of getting some movement in that first gap and drove it right through there and did a great job for us. Maddox is a great kid. I was glad to get him the ball and get him a chance to score.
Dawson gave them problems last year in the game. He gave them problems this year in the game also. He had a good stat line, 10 of 20, 102 for 1 touchdown, and then on his legs he carried it 10 times for 47 yards. You used him in a lot of situations, which I think they expected, and he ended up having a good night, even though I think he knew that they were going to key in on him a lot.
Dawson's a kid that we've really set high expectations for. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the season after the first 2 games that after he had went, I think it was 3 of 22 for the first 2 combined through the first 2 games, that he would have a game where he was at 50% accuracy and threw for over 100 yards, I'd have laughed at you. But, it's one of those things. Every week Dawson gets a little bit better. He's really lasered in. He's focused, and I can't say enough positive things about him. He's bought in. He's worked his tail off, and as a kid like that he's went through some adversity. Last year he got set down a couple times and let Jaden Gregg come in, kind of took the starting role from him. And this year we've rode with him, and he's done a great job for us. And so, you see each week he's getting a little bit better, and a little bit better with his arm. His legs have always been great for us. But now there's that extra little wrinkle that teams have to prepare for, that, hey, the kid can actually throw it. Mm-hmm. He can throw it a country mile. It was accuracy, and he's really honed in on his accuracy. He won the longest throw competition in the conference at our jamboree, but the problem is sometimes he's a little inaccurate with it, and so we've had to reel in his accuracy, give him some dinks and dunks that he can handle that are easy completions, give him a little confidence, and he's done a great job for us. And we'll miss him next year because he's a great kid to have around. He's really come a long way this year.
So out with 1 region game, you go ahead and put South Greene behind you. In with another. You've got Cumberland Gap this week. Very confusing offense to scout, to say the least.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the offenses that people know the most about just because of how they run it and how successful they can be if they run it correctly. It's tough to stop, so I'm sure you've got a game plan already mapped out for that. But we need to get a few messages in first, so we'll go ahead and cut to break and be right back to preview that upcoming region game against Cumberland Gap here on the Range, here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pawn, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pawn can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pawn is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pawn help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the Range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. So you got the Panthers coming in.
Yep.
Homecoming night.
Yes.
Always a special night for the school.
Yeah.
Always a very eventful night.
Yeah.
You've got a very difficult offense to scout against.
Yeah.
What are you expecting coming into Friday night?
A lot of run, it's a weird offense. It's 22 guys in a phone booth, and it's just fighting tooth and nail, just gritting your teeth and holding your gap and don't letting them move you. They come out literally 5 linemen, 2 tight ends, quarterback's under center, and about 3 yards deep you've got a guy right behind the quarterback and a guy that literally stick their arms out, touch fingertips, put them down, and then when he says down, they'll all go in a 3-point stance. So all 11 guys, or 10 of the 11 guys except for the quarterback, are in a 3-point stance. And, they'll fake the dive and run a sweep back. They'll fake the dive, fake power, bring it back. The other guy coming around, they'll sweep back this way.
Quarterback keeps.
Quarterback will keep it. They got a big tight end that's long and lanky, can run a little bit, and they'll do all that motion. Quarterback will keep it and roll, and then they'll dump it to him. It's a very tricky offense to defend. It's very old school. It's kind of wild. I've seen some college teams, especially Penn State, has ran this offense in the past couple of years, and it's even went to the NFL a couple times. I've seen a couple NFL teams run this offense. And so, these programs that are big-time programs are running this stuff, and it's old school, classic turn-of-the-century football stuff. Mm-hmm. But they run it, and they run it well. It's hard to defend. It's a lot of misdirection, and if you get upfield, they'll trap you. They'll run the trap to death, where center and guard the center blocks back, backside guard pulls. The center and guard or the guard and tackle on the play side will avoid the defensive tackle here, go to linebacker. they'll that backside guard will come and kick that defensive tackle out, and there's a gap, and if that defensive tackle runs upfield, he's getting ear hold, and that little running back, he's off to the races. They're very balanced in their attack. They don't favor one side or the other a whole lot. They're very balanced whether run left or run right. They spend a lot of time on their offense, you can tell, because it's, executed basically perfection every play. They change up their snap count. Then it gives a lot of teams fits, because I watched part of the Hampton film, and they run it right down Hampton and scored, and then the next series they got Hampton was firing off hard trying to stop the play, and they just changed the snap count, and Hampton jumped off sides. They got, I think, 10 or 15 yards on them on one drive just from snap penalties.
That's crucial.
And you give a team a first down, they ain't even run a play yet. It's easy. It's easy money. And so they're a very tricky team to do. And what's the hardest part is getting freshmen and sophomores running scout team to run that offense right. You can draw it up on a play card all day long.
You can watch film, but sometimes getting out there and mimicking that offense is tough to do. And one thing that I've noticed that they do well is they do well at covering the football.
Yes. They carry their fakes out great. It's not like they'll run 2 steps and they're done. There was one guy who comes all the way across. He's 10 yards downfield, and there's guys chasing him. And he turns and looks at him and goes, like this, like, I don't even have it.
Yes. It's confusing whenever you're looking through a lens on a phone or a camera and you don't even know where the ball is. They do such a good job at
Quarterback's
covering.
got it right here in his gut, and he just kind of flips it, and he'll have it on his back hip, and he'll turn his back to the defense, and it's tricky. It's one of those things. Everybody has a job. Your job is this. You stop this. That is your job. And we're fine. But if that one person doesn't do their job,
that could be the whole difference.
We'll get gashed. It's not a complicated offense, but they execute it beautifully, and it's kind of fun to watch.
It is.
It's a fun offense to sit and watch because they run it so well. Their linemen aren't huge. They're not huge up front, but they've got a little grit about them, little rough mountain boys. We might have to get rid of some of these mountain teams. It's
not going to get any easier next week either.
Nope. We get to go to the other ways for mountain boys. They're just tough kids that they're young up front, but they've bought in. They block hard, and they get after it. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for is kids to get after it. I think it's a game that we can win. It's a game we should win. But if we don't do our job on defense and stop that, we just call it the T formation. We don't stop the T, man. We might be in for a long night.
What do you expect What do you expect for them to throw at you on defense?
They don't change a lot up on defense. They kind of run a split four down linemen, 4 linebackers. Sometimes they walk those outside linebackers up, and it looks like they've got a six-man front with 2 linebackers in the middle. And then they kind of play a safety deep and a corner, playing kind of man-to-man, or they'll play cover 3. If you kind of go twins, safety comes over, or they'll bump a linebacker out. It's what gives them fits is when teams go spread. And they go true, like 2 wide receivers on each side. They kind of change it up and go to a 5-man front with a nose right over the center. It can give teams a little bit of fit there. But, defensively, they're pretty sound. They play their gap. They hold their gap. And then just try to keep everything in front of them. Don't get beat deep. Don't let anything behind you in the secondary, and then come up and make a play. And they do a pretty good job of that. So, they're a pretty well-coached football team. I expect it to be a pretty good game Friday night.
Going back to your defense, this is one question that I have in mind that I haven't asked any of the other teams that have played Cumberland Gap this year. Do you coach your cornerbacks different in a situation like this where you don't expect to pass much, but you always need to be on your toes because they have passed the ball in some situation, but you don't expect it? How do you coach your cornerbacks against against an offense like this?
Well, you got to change it up a little bit. If you play base defense on this bunch and you only have 3 down linemen, well, we run a base 3-4 defense. They'll gas you. They'll hurt you with it. So we kind of had to change things up, kind of not really move guys around, but do it a little bit different alignment this week. Kind of throw a different formation at them. Something they've not really seen from us on film that I think we'll give them fits with. But you've that one, the wide receiver, if they do come out of that T formation, they'll either take a tight end out or they'll bring one of the 3 guys out and bring him out here, and you just take the corner over, and you tell your corners you still got outside contain. You don't let anything outside of you. You're kind of man up on that guy on your side. You've got an outside linebacker and a safety taking care of the tight end. Corner, you've got that back to your side. If he comes out on a wheel route or something, you go with him, and you just have to be smart. You can't fall asleep at the wheel. And we caught one of the secondary guys sleeping at practice today. We had run, the run to play 10, 15 times in a row, and I kind of saw that he was kind of like just back there kind of in his own little world. I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fake you this, and then I want you 2 to go out and leak out into the side, and then quarterback, I want you to dump it out there. He said, okay. Kid got toast. And, and as I'm out there, I lose my mind. I'm ranting and raving and getting him, and, it's one of those things that just you can't fall asleep on them. They have to be prepared because they'll lull you to sleep. They'll pound you 10 plays in a row. That 11th play, quarterback will boot. You'll have the tight end and the running back to that side. They both leak out. They'll both break out to the sideline, hoping that when it's either that secondary guy that's there's got to pick either the shallow route or the deeper route.
I've seen it firsthand.
And if you pick wrong, quarterback's smart enough, he'll pick the other one, and he'll make you pay for it. So we have to be disciplined on defense this week to just make sure that we're not getting asleep at the wheel. Can't be asleep at the wheel this week. We've got to be in control.
What kind of urgency do you have going into this matchup now that you've fallen behind 0-2 in the region with them up next on your schedule?
I've preached it this week. Boys, it's a must-win game Friday night for us. If we want to achieve our goal of going to the playoffs and making a playoff run, we have got to win this game Friday night. What's crazy, if we win the rest of our region games, South Greene wins out, we can still be second place in our region. Mm-hmm. If, I think Eagleton will end up, they could lose another one. They could end up second, but, even being 0-2 right now.
You could still be third.
Yeah, because we still have Hampton, Cumberland Gap, and Happy Valley left. So we beat those 3, and South Greene takes care of Hampton. That'd put both of us at 3-2, and we'd have the tiebreaker with the head-to-head. So, we can still host a playoff game. That was a goal. Mm-hmm. And so, it's one of those things. Our season's not went the way we've wanted to so far, but a lot of our goals are still achievable. And so, we had that conversation at practice today, and, I just told them, boys, we got to win it. I need more from you this week. We have to plan and prepare, and probably at practice like it's our hair's on fire. Because if we drop this one, our chances of making the playoffs drop a whole lot. So we've really got to come play Friday night. And, it's a huge region game for us. If we want to make the playoffs, we've got to win this one.
How special is it being homecoming night, too? I know for a coach that can kind of be a little nerve-wracking.
I could care less about homecoming. If we're being completely blunt and honest, it's one of those things.
As a coach, it's
It does no.
Yeah.
It's a distraction. That's all it is. I enjoy having fun with the kids during the day. Me and Coach Hahn, it was dynamic duo day.
Awesome.
We were peanut butter and jelly.
Awesome.
I was peanut butter. He was jelly. We did it. We did it upright. I had a brown shirt, and I took some athletic tape that we would tape an ankle with, and I put about 4 strips on my chest and wrote PB on it. And he had a big purple shirt, and he took some athletic tape and he wrote jelly across his, and we did it right. Some of these other teachers, you could tell they'd spent some time on their costumes and got the Cricut machine out and pressed them on a nice, beautiful thing. We said, nah, we ain't went no. So, end of the day, hey, I got me a brown shirt. I'm ready to go. So, it was one of those things. It's fun for the kids. It's fun.
It's great for the community. It's great for the crowd. It always brings a good turnout. But I think coaches hate homecoming the most.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
You always worry about, are their heads in the game? Are they prepared? Are they focused?
Yeah.
Are they warmed up? Are they still ready to go?
Yeah, because it kind of messes with your routine when you do homecoming beforehand. You got guys that are supposed to be warming up, 20 minutes before kickoff, and they're over there taking pictures, and you're like, can we wrap this up?
Yes.
I've got things I need to do. It's frustrating as a coach to have to do it, but it's great for the community. It's great for the kids. I don't want to be like bah humbug.
Homecoming.
Bah humbug homecoming. I don't. No, but you gotta. There's distractions that come with it. Are they really focused, and are they mentally ready? And with it being such a huge region game for us, we've got to make sure we're ready. And so, it's one of those things we've just kind of got to drill in our heads, boys. I know it's homecoming. You can have fun. But it's a whole lot more homecoming's a whole lot more fun when you win than when you lose.
That's true.
Homecoming dance afterwards kind of sucks when you lose. It ain't bad when you win, but it sucks when you lose. And so it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. I'm glad we do it. I've seen, I think right now the freshmen are leading the competitions for the week.
That's different.
It is. This freshman group, man, they're an excitable group of kids.
That's different. I like that.
They won the dress up competition. They had more kids dress up than anybody else today. So, it's a fun little competition between them and the seniors. I think the juniors are probably doing the worst. They got kind of the same attitude I do sometimes. A little bah humbug. It's homecoming.
That's how my senior class was.
No,
I think we were the first ones to actually lose the senior games.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh yeah,
I'll
own it.
That's bad.
Yeah, we were bad.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah. Well, we had a great senior class, and
We won Powder Puff though.
Hey, see, we didn't get to do Powder Puff.
Oh,
I'd have been the offensive line coach for Powder Puff.
Powder Puff was the funnest things because you always dress out like coaches and you bring like your Xbox and PlayStation headsets, and you don't have them plugged up to anything. You just have the cords just shoved into your pocket. You have clipboards that have no pieces of paper on it. You dress up with khakis and a button-up shirt. You should dress up like coaches. It's fun.
And that's, Friday. We kind of have an all-day thing planned where they're going to do Powder Puff during the day instead of at night, and so that'll be interesting. That's another distraction that I got to worry about whether or not we'll be mentally ready for. But
As a student, that was always your favorite day, though. No class.
oh yeah,
No class.
no class, not a bad.
That was my
gig.
favorite day of school every year. No class, you just sit outside all day.
Yeah,
And then senior year rolls around, and you win Powder Puff, and then you become like the first senior class to lose the games.
Oh.
It was a good but bad day.
You're like, oh, this sucks.
Yep.
We won, but really we lost.
Yeah.
This kind of sucks. But homecoming is what it is. I'm glad the kids get to participate. I'll let some of the football boys, some of the girls that are in homecoming court asked if football could participate, and I was like, you know what? Sure. You only get to do so many of these kind of things in high school. I want them to enjoy that experience and get a chance to go smile pretty for their mama. Get to walk somebody across the field or whatever we do, and pose pretty for a picture, then stand there real awkward for 20 minutes while they announce everybody else. While you're real sweaty and the girl's like, I don't really want to touch you. You're kind of gross, But yeah, it is what it is.
Homecoming's fun, but as a
can
coach, yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
A little bit.
It's a unique offense that you're going against.
Yes.
It's a must-win game. It's got a lot of regional implications. What are your 3 keys this week?
We gotta get off the field on defense. We got to shut them down. We can't let them gash us. We force. I told last week I told them coming out of halftime. I said, boys, if you go give us 3 3-and-outs, you'll give us a chance. We had 2. I think if we would have gotten 1 more, it'd give us a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, I'd like to force some more 3-and-outs, get them off the field. Because the longer that offense is on the field, the more likely they're going to bust one and gash you. So get off the field on defense. Second key, we got to block with some nasty this week. We had seen glimpses of it at times last week, and that's when we got chunks. When we just kind of leaned on the guy and didn't really run our feet and try to put somebody on our back, we kind of got stuffed a little bit. So I'd like to see us block with some nasty, have a good attitude, and I want to go finish blocks, and always score more points
than the other team.
Score more points than the other team. Hadn't done that in a while. I'd like to get back to that this week. And I think if we can rush the ball for 250 plus yards, I'd be tickled to death. I tell the boys, hey, we rush for 350. I'll cook you pancakes on Monday. So the deal is, normally shutout is pizza Monday.
Yep.
Hadn't had that in a while. We've had it once this year. Pizza Monday is normally after a shutout. If we rush for 350, I do pancakes on Monday, and if we get a shutout, we'll do pizza on Tuesday.
So that's double. That's awesome.
I ain't had to cook a lot of pancakes this year. I ain't cooked pancakes yet. I know 350 is a big number, but we're a predominant run-heavy team. If we can get a couple big plays here and there, that'd be great for us. Instead of having to chew 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards.
Chew 3, 4, 5 minutes off the clock.
Yes. Get a bust play where we finally – there's times if we get one block, you see it open, and the back will bounce it out where we've kicked a guy, and then the guy we've kicked makes the tackle. And if they would have just been a hair more patient, I probably could have ran through the hole. And I'm not the most fleet-footed athlete anymore. Never was, but especially now. And so it's one of those things. If we can get it to where we finally see that hole open up and we can hit that hole and get going, I think we can have a pretty good night rushing the ball.
All right, looks to be a fun night, though. Got homecoming here on the range starting before kickoff around 7 o'clock. Got kickoff set for 7:30. It'll be West Greene. It'll be Cumberland Gap, the Buffaloes, and the Panthers. A huge regional game with playoff implications on the line. If you're a West Greene fan or a West Greene supporter, as always, come join the activities here on Friday night at West Greene. Coach, that's all I've got for you this week.
No problem.
Appreciate you for sitting down with me this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.